this week we're back talking about mentors again. This is the second of a 3-part video series. Now we're talking about mentors because last time I mentioned we're hearing about this a lot. In fact, someone just yesterday asked me how I found one of my mentors. And so I really wanted to talk about this and help you guys out because I know it can be really stressful trying to figure out who is going to be this magical person in your life. And when you hear someone like Condoleezza Rice talk about the importance of finding a mentor, it really stresses that importance. But what I like best about what she says is this idea that you're not going to be able to necessarily find someone who's just like you. So she said that a lot of her mentors were older white men because in her industry and what she did, that's who was available to her. And so that's something I want you to think about. Now, I want to take this a step further, thinking outside the box about how to find a mentor. So a good idea is to not just think about inside your own organization or even in your own career. Think about people that you have in your social life, and I especially want you to look at the men in your life. You can see that so many women, we see these powerhouses of women who are super successful, and often they have a very successful father. And so they learned that by using a male role model. And I know this might be a little bit controversial, but it's the idea that we know that women often are a little bit more timid about asking for what they want. We know from studies that we're often perceived as being more aggressive or that we're not perceived as very nice if we ask for what we want. And I think sometimes having a male perspective helps us realize that we can go for it and we can go for what we want. So I want you to especially think about your male friends and maybe even your significant other, if he happens to be male, a boyfriend or a husband, because there's a really powerful reason that this can help you really get motivated to do something. So one thing that really has helped me, and I think this is true for a lot of people, is that when you see someone that you know very well be very successful, you see that that person is a lot like you. You know that they're intelligent, but maybe not more significantly so than you are. We tend to put our role models on a pedestal and think that there's something special or magical that they have that we don't have. And when you know someone well, you can learn a lot from what they're doing. And part of that is just realizing that whatever they're doing, you can probably do it too. So I want to illustrate this through an example. When I was younger, I never thought of going into sales. But I had this boyfriend who was working as a salesperson over the summer when we were in college. And he ended up being very successful right off the bat with it. And I looked at this situation and I realized that it was something that I could also do too. And it was really ironic because he was very successful with it for one summer and I was a much slower starter. So initially I didn't think I was going to have that success, but I stuck with it, and 3 summers later, I not only had incredibly high sales, I was promoted to assistant manager. This illustrates the point that when someone close to you is successful, you can learn a lot from this because number one, you're going to see that this person is not inherently different from you. If this person is very successful, it's because they're going after it. It's because they're setting that goal and taking steps to make it happen. You can do the exact same thing. Secondly, I know that if you're close to a guy, if you're friends with him, or if he is your boyfriend or husband, he's probably going to be willing to talk to you a little bit about it. Talk to him about whatever he's working on. Chances are he's going to be more than happy to share it. A lot of people really like to talk about their own successes. So this is just kind of an example of how you can look for mentors in different places. And this isn't to say that you can't have women mentors. I've learned a ton from my girlfriends, but also think about the fact that women, we can learn a lot from the way men do things. And that's not to say they can't learn a lot from us, but if we could be a little more like men and men could be a little more like women, in a lot of cases we would all be more successful. So I highly encourage you to look for a mentor in the men in your life and not just exclude them because they happen to be a different gender than you are. Tune into the 3rd part of this video series to see the difference between a sponsor and a mentor. If you've never heard of a sponsor, definitely tune in because this might be even more important than finding a mentor. Also, share this video with a friend. Think of your girlfriend who might be also looking for a mentor and hasn't taken the time to ask. For more great tips like these, tune into How to Hustle.